ball knocked loose. White dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor.
They try to save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, laying. Got it. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derrick White.
Wayne Spooney, First to the Floor podcast. I am back from my excursion to South Carolina where I got like basically not a tan, even though I was in the sun all day. I'm joined by Jake Eisenberg. We got two series. Two teams are through to the conference finals and two teams very much on their way. 3-2 series. Jake, how we doing?
Doing well. I was enjoying getting a geography lesson on South Carolina before we hopped on about where Spoony went on holidays. I've added it to my list of places that I need to go. But yeah, it's good. I'm really enjoying the playoff basketball. I worked yesterday, avoided all the scores, sat home after dinner, and was able to really lock in the last two nights into T-Wolves, Spurs, and Cavs, Pistons. So I'm kind of emotionally past the not having the Celtics thing in my life. But I like these swings in the playoff series and in the playoffs in general. It's like Knicks are down 2-1 and the season's like they're facing their mortality. Celtics are up 3-1. Every life situation flips on its head in a week. Yep. And then similarly to this Cavs Pistons series, they're down 2-0. They win 3 games in a row now. And we go from getting sent Evan Mobley trades in our DMs to now what do the Pistons have to do? And is this James Harden's one of his big moments all of a sudden? And it's these, should these individual 2 to 3 game sample sizes be swinging the fates of all of these rosters? If the Celtics win in 5 and then losing 6 or 7 to the Knicks, but you can talk yourself into development from Cater and the young guys. You're running it back where we're kind of right there. Another year of Tatum. If you lose in the first round, it's Giannis trade, Derek White's out. All of these swings. Evan Mobley for Giannis if they lose in this series, but if they go through, I don't know the answer to this question at all. But it is crazy how a week can change everything.
Yeah, man. Sometimes just a game, right? Game series don't go 6 unless it's 3-2, right? So the fact that Detroit loses in overtime and it basically becomes hey, is this experiment going to work, or do they need to completely kind of retool? Is Jalen Duren just not that guy who has cost himself more money than maybe anyone ever has in a playoffs? Yeah. But on James Harden, he's shooting 39% from the floor in the second round. So maybe not James Harden is back, but
he's had a couple of moments here.
And he's got himself to the line when he's had bad shooting nights, when he's had to. And he does settle down the offense because Mitchell's been a little bit all over the place in these series. And he's always runs hot and cold. Yeah. But, Mitchell's he's below 3 assists in the second round of game. Harden really is setting the table for them in a way that they desperately need. But he hasn't totally covered himself in glory. I'll just say that. Yeah.
And Zach Lowe made this point as well, though. They are playing the Pistons, whose defense is awesome.
Yeah, second best in the league. Yep.
Yeah, and the Raptors, they were the 5th best defense in the league, so I think that is fair as well. Asar Thompson is a fucking nightmare to deal with. Good Lord. Yep. I don't need to go too far on a tangent, but I am stunned at how little balls shooting skills the Thompson twins have, despite being good at everything else. It's very odd to me. Great handlers, great around the rim, but just zero ability to shoot outside of 15 feet. It's very odd that you'd play that much basketball and be that bad at shooting.
Yeah, that's been on the knock on them I remember when they went to, I think they were overtime elite guys when they were 16, and people were if these guys can just learn how to shoot a little bit, they'll be incredible. And what are we, like 6-7 years later now? And it's like, not only can they still not shoot, it's like they haven't improved. I know the sunny forehead has landed. If you're on the podcast, the sun is at the perfect angle just above my monitor where it looks like my forehead is ascending to heaven and leaving the rest of my body behind. It's an interesting look. There's nothing you can do. I don't have curtains or shades on this window. So
is it going to keep going up or down?
It's going to keep going. It should go down below the horizon very shortly here. We've got a beautiful sunset just behind.
Yeah, it looks lovely.
But anyway, so like that's been the knock on them, and they just like absolutely can't figure it out. And I like when you're at that level of shooting, I'm not sure you ever figure it out. Like Horford is kind of a guy who like famously learned to shoot threes late in his career, but he was always money from like 20 feet, you know? Yeah. It's like just take a big old step back, Al, and turn them into threes. Even Brook Lopez was like good from the line, but they're just an abomination, man. And if like they really, really need to figure out some two-way wings, because every wing on their team is like it's either Duncan Robinson and he juices the offense, or it's Asar Thompson and Ron Holland, and the offense has trouble staying afloat with those guys out there. And then it's just like poor Cade. It's just
my goodness,
like pounded by the entire defense. And still, he's not been like super efficient, but it's been like a pretty heroic series for Cade in a lot of ways.
Yeah, what is he at now? He's at 56% true shooting, which honestly, considering the burden that he's carrying,
yeah, man,
is actually really fucking impressive. And he's at what? Turnover.
He's horrible from 2, but he's making threes.
Actually, that was the regular season. He's at 59% true shooting. He's been on fire from 3.
Yeah,
that's it. Which is like he's at 42% from 3 and 7 attempts. Which I'm watching these games and I'm like, obviously that's amazing. And I've always kind of thought that he'd be a better 3-point shooter than the numbers have shown.
He's like Tatum. Like he just has to take a lot of bad ones.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's especially on this team. I'm like, dude. I like some of the mentality shots. I'm like, that was smart. That was a tough shot, but it was only going to get tougher from that.
Yeah,
like part of the possession on. So he's averaging 30 on like 59% true shooting, which is insane. But he's averaging 5.5 turnovers, and that's always been a thing with Cade.
Yep.
But at the same time, again, who the fuck is helping him?
Right. Nobody else can dribble. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like Celtics Twitter got mad about Cerruti on the Ryan Russillo podcast, talked about, do we leave this playoffs with Cade being better than Tatum? And I was like, come on, can we settle down? But fuck, man. The defense from him is really good as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like the versatility and the size of Tatum and the defensive rebounding, like he's going to have an edge there. But like the size and the playmaking and the mid-range game, like the ability to get those tough buckets in this offensive context is really hard. And that just made me think about how hard it's going to be to win in the playoffs. Because on one hand, I'm like, should you be letting a week of playoff basketball change the way you feel about everything? Where we were like, add a guy in the mid-level, draft someone, like keep building, keep giving yourself chances to making big changes. And then on the other hand, I'm like, man, Cade is only going to get better. The Pistons are only going to get better as well. Like they didn't make a swing for a secondary creator at the deadline. That's going to be something they obviously address. As bad as Duran's been, he's 22, and this is like his first real playoff run. They had one playoff series last year. The Knicks aren't going anywhere. The Pacers will be back. Like it's fucking, and then not to mention the Thunder and the Spurs in the West. So staying pat and convincing yourself you're better than you are is probably the mistake, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I think even if we lost to the Knicks in 5, I would be at the point where I think we need some serious changes. I don't think it's going to happen this offseason, though. I really don't think there are things we can do without going into the luxury tax that will, I don't want to say fundamentally change the team around us unless it's trading Derrick or Jalen. But like that, we can almost use that whole trade exception was about 27 million. Like you just need a big, I heard you and Ben talking and like, eventually you guys just at the very end, like with the Tatum exit interview where it would be like, he would just say, get me Al Horford. We need a stretch big. Watching the Knicks and watching what Cat does for that offense has just made me realize that a stretch big who can somewhat, they don't even have to be good defensive players. They just have to like be okay-ish. It just makes playoff offense so much easier. Embiid was camped by the rim. You and Ben talked about it. Embiid was camped by the rim. Like, it's easy to say we need more rim pressure, but there's no, you're not pressuring the rim if you're just dribbling into Joel Embiid and then turning around when you get there, right? Stretch big immediately solves that problem, makes us unguardable, lets the Jays get downhill without Embiid at the rim. The problem is, like, those guys don't exist. Like, look around, like the guys who are either so good at offense that their bad defense isn't that big of a deal. Cat's one of those guys. Or Jokic is one of those guys, or the guys who are like, they're a legitimate 3-point shooter. Not like, hey, I take 2.5 a game and make one. Like, I shoot 7.5 a game and make 2. Those guys just, they're not out. And I'm a good defensive player. They just don't really exist. So I honestly this playoffs more than anything has made me realize how much Al Horford was a cheat code. And like, I just don't know how you replace him. And I think the Jays are the types of players that they like really need that around them to truly juice what they do best, because they're not guards. And it's just a lot harder for big wings to get into the paint without getting their handle picked. And so, like, if we can't find that guy with the trade exception, I think we look for a guard or something like that. But I think it's, maybe the shots go in game 6 against the Sixers, but we were not beating the Knicks. And I think that's a problem. I think we would be crazy not to be seriously considering some either fundamental changes or on the hunt to use that trade exception to bring in a dude who is like the 3rd best player on the team.
Yeah, the big man spot, dude. And how often do we talk about the Al Horford succession plan and be like, there is no succession plan.
Yep.
Like, a dude that can shoot threes, that can switch, can play drop. That's why I wrote about Al Horford in the 2022 summer, I think, or 2023 summer, I forget. But it was like the number that I'll never forget on switches in the playoffs, he was like 0.64 points per possession.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, look at like volume of 3-point shooting of big men. He's like tier 1. Big men that defend a lot in isolation, tier 1. And also in the playoffs, not an elite rim protector, but very capable of protecting the rim. There was just like, he might be one of the most underrated players of the last 15 years. Like, that Celtics run that he had from when he first arrived to when he finished on both ends. And yeah, that's why, like, I'm kind of on the Pacers side where, yeah, it sucked to give up the 5th pick. And I know Zubats can't shoot, but it's like finding guys that can like bang with the big dudes, can get your offensive rebounds, can hang in multiple matchups, can be a legitimate like elite big man, pass, set awesome screens. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck getting the one. And so
on a good contract too.
On a good contract.
Yeah.
Like, so I won't share who's DM'd the trade to us, because sometimes I just don't know who. If they want us to share it, but we talked about Evan Mobley trades in the DMs, and I can't pay $50 million, I don't think, to him. But like at the same time, you try and like Latrell's trying to replicate Al Horford to a degree, right? Fantastic protecting the rim, obviously won Defensive Player of the Year, can defend in space, really good passer. The shooting, he's not an Al Horford level shooter. Maybe he can get there eventually. He's still really young, right? And like what he's shown shooting wise. But I just know there's going to be too many games where you're like, oh man, he's just not.
Took 4 shots. Yeah. Or like 6 shots, the
one rebound game. Maybe it's different. I either have to go one of 2 ways. You find like your guy that you can really bank on, and you would give up either assets or you're willing to provide a ton of the cap to, or you like nail your platoon. And it's like, even I mean, OKC is not a great example, but like a Hartenstein, even a Chet from last season, where it's like elite defender. I'm still kind of iffy on the Chet offense. I think Chet looks a lot better in this OKC ecosystem. Defensively, there's no like, I can't degrade him in any way, but offensively, it's like he's really a spot up guy and can kind of do cleanup work. I don't really buy a lot of like the ISO possession stuff. So you got Cater, you got to find two other dudes that can like help you in different matchups.
But Hartenstein would be like by far our best
pick.
You know what I mean? Like that's might be the guy. Like they need to cut, but I like someone as good as Isaiah Hartenstein. Like he's like the 10th best center in the NBA, isn't he? Like, I mean, he's up there,
Yeah. So like, it's really hard.
Yeah. Like I just don't know. I'm trying to think of the teams that won the title. Who did they have platoon bigs? Right? Like OKC, obviously not. Us, I don't think you can say we did with Horford and to a lesser extent KP. Denver, obviously not.
What about the Raptors in 2019/20? It was like Gasol.
Siakam played some small ball 5.
Did Pirtle? I'm not remembering much.
Was Biyombo on that? I think Biyombo might have been on that team. I had Pirtle. I don't think Pirtle was there yet. He may have been, but
was it 1920? That was the year.
Yeah, it was 2019.
19.
Yeah, 2019. Because it was the Lakers in 20 in the big title, as I recall.
Straight from Anthony Davis's mouth.
Yeah. Hey, look, dude. Yeah, there you go. 2020. Anthony Davis finally got to play the 5.
Yeah. Minutes wise, it was Marc Gasol. Serge Ibaka, that's right.
It was Ibaka. Man, wrong. Yeah.
So Serge, and that was it, really.
But dude, that version of Gasol, I mean, like he didn't score, but he was really fucking good. He would have.
He was very Al Horford.
Yeah, he was, man. Like he could shoot, he could pass, he set amazing screens, he protected the shit out of the rim. He's like a DP. He wasn't quite DPOY level then, but he's a DPOY level defender for most of his career. He was just a step below that then. I agree that we can probably get it done with a platoon, but like the level of the guys that are in like the elite platoons are better than Kata. And like right now, Kata's our best guy. Kata could probably be the second best center on a platoon, but then it's like, well, who the hell are you finding that's better than Nimi? You know what I mean?
I don't think teams are giving them up.
Right.
We've been talking about
that's what it takes.
Yeah. Like Hartenstein being the dream scenario, but it's like, okay, the only way I think that happens is if we sign and trade him into that TPE. It's like, okay, well, fuck, are we going to pay Isaiah Hartenstein $28 million? I guess he was just getting paid $28 million. And maybe that's just the going rate, right? Like Okongwu, that's a guy, but like he strikes me as your platoon guy. Mitchell Robinson, like as good as Cat's been, his foul trouble is not a problem because they have Mitchell Robinson that can play 25 minutes a night and like be fucking awesome. The Pistons, ironically, if Duran had been able to sustain at least be somewhere in between his regular season and now and not be now, and so you have like Duran, Isaiah Stewart, B-Ball Paul.
He's solid.
Fucking great every time he comes in. And he's a guy that they should be legitimately thinking about trying to bring in because you have Gaza, you have Nimi, you need a third platoon guy. B-Ball Paul gives you like switchability, athleticism, bit of a different look. Like if you're not going to be able to do it. Wendell Carter, we've talked about a million times. Gafford, he's just like another Nimi. At least he's good. But like finding Robert Williams healthy.
Yeah.
Would be huge. And I don't even know if this is supposed to turn into a
off-season primer.
But like everything is kind of just the overarching question for everything about the Celtics is how do we win the title? And it's like this is why when you come back to Jalen for Giannis, it's like, okay, well, he's going to be one of the best at the 5 positions you're going to find, and he's not like a pure 5. But like regular season, I don't really care about the regular season now.
Correct.
I'm just like, fuck. And also, I don't care who you put next to Giannis and Tatum. Like, you can put Giannis and you can put Kata there. I don't care about the offensive spacing. You'll just completely eat everybody. So that full circle, back to Jalen for Giannis.
Yeah, no, I think to answer the original question is like, should we be letting, like 2 games dictate the
Yeah.
future of teams? Like, I think you have to, because like the playoffs are the most important sample size. And even though they're minuscule and small, what happened to the Celtics to me was we just feel so far away from the Knicks right now. And maybe I'm wrong and maybe that's crazy, but I just think you have to take that very, very seriously, because like you said, every other team's trying to get better and is going to get better around you. So you can't just like make incremental improvements. I feel like you need to make a big jump from where we're at and then incrementally improve from there. It's just a matter of finding what that jump is, even though again, yeah, like the shots go in, maybe we're not having this conversation, but they didn't,
Well, it is interesting. Like, it is hard to not think about the shots, right? But it's like the Knicks, right? In the Sixers series, shot 45% from 3 as a team. Like, yeah, everything looks awesome when you hit every shot. And for the playoffs, now if you go back, 8 games now for the Knicks, since they were down 2-1. That was 7 games. 7 games. Yeah, they're at 43% from 3. Like, if the Celtics had done that, they would look the same.
Yeah.
So but part of it is Cat, right? Like, he does, and the quality of the looks. Like, how much do you assign to the quality? How much do you assign to fucking? Sometimes Caleb Martin shoots 50% from 3 for 2 weeks, or Paul George shoots 50% from 3 for 2 weeks, or OG Anunoby was shooting 56% from 3, and these are unanswerable questions. But fuck, it helps if you're just knocking down every wide open shot.
It does, but I don't think this is in a vacuum. Like, this happened last year. I don't totally blame 2023 because like that was shoot apocalypse. Like, it was literally shooting variants to the likes we've never seen before or since. But like, this felt like a very similar way to lose as last year. And we were like, well, we're healthy now and it's going to be different. And it was like, man, like, oh, they're generating open shots, but they were not good shots, if that makes sense. Like, they weren't totally in the flow of the offense. Everything felt like really, really difficult.
Great.
And then when it got to crunch time, it felt like we just had zero chance of stopping Maxey or them. And like Philly could just get what they wanted often in these last couple of games. So it's 2 years, I feel like, of evidence. And to me, that should be a red flag. It's
hard though, but then it's like, just don't play Kristaps Porzingis in the next series, and probably you're fine. I got some angry people saying no more Giannis talk in the chat. Giannis is washed. Next major player to tear his Achilles. Rivens, Giannis is a whinging, demanding bitch. Bad for a locker room, everyone team culture. You probably didn't see this today. Miles Turner was on a podcast. He's been kind of going scorched earth a little bit, doing tell-all stuff about the Bucks.
Nice.
And he was like, everyone was late to everything in my 1 year that I was at Milwaukee with Doc Rivers. Like, the plane was supposed to take off at 2. It would never take off before 4.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And he's like, I just learned to turn up an hour later. Team meetings, film, and Giannis was like one of the worst offenders, according to Miles Turner. Yeah. So it's not without its risk. Don't get me wrong. But the big man spot is easily the biggest, because if you get an elite guy in there and then Cater becomes your backup, I think that changes. Because as much as Cater struggled, I wish we could just live in the universe where he could have just taken out the dumb ones, dumb fouls. Because in Game 7 he was awesome.
Yep.
And was like at the team high +9. It's like, could we have just seen what the series looked like if he was able to be out of foul trouble, essentially? If he had been able to do that, like at least a little bit better, what would we have seen? And going back to the Duran thing, Cater's real first ever playoff run. So I expect him to be better. But if he can be your backup to someone better, but again, finding someone better than Cater is going to be fucking hard. And so I don't know if that's a trade up in the draft. And, we talked about Filipowski. We talked about Kalkbrenner. Neither of those guys are answering this question. I thought Kalkbrenner had an awesome rookie season. And I don't think that you can project him to be like much more. And Triple J, I think you're in the same situation with Mobley, as M in the chat asks, where it's like, if I'm going to pay $50 million to my center, they need to be better than that to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're going to run into the exact same problems that you're having right now with the offense kind of falling apart, because by paying them that much, you're then limiting the other parts of your roster. Whereas it's like, if you can platoon it, then you can build out the rest of the roster. Awesome. Or if you spend the 50 million, it has to be, sorry, everybody, like a Giannis level, as a fucking, again, there's a Towns level offensive player. They're really hard to find. Or you have to lean into trying to find another superpower, like something else you can like kill teams with. Whereas the Thunder, it's the defense. Obviously, they kind of have everything. The Spurs, yeah, they got one of these guys, just so you know.
Do they? I don't know. Is Wemby that good?
Fuck.
Yeah, man. We should, before we move on, we should probably hit
Yes.
prize picks. So unless you have any kind of final thoughts on that, but I think you summed it up perfectly, man. It is sort of depressing, but I am excited for the offseason. So before we move on, we'll hear a little word from our sponsors.
Yep. And we got the read somewhere close by. Prize picks.
Anyway,
time,
so before
Yeah.
we move on, we'll hear another word from our sponsor.
The regular season's wrapped up and the NBA playoffs are here. James Harden is making his case as a non-playoff joker a tiny bit. Missed his clutch free throws, but got the rebound. Happy for him. No better way to cash in on the high-flying hoops action than Prize Picks, a preferred partner of the NBA. Every bucket, every dime, every win means more when you're playing on Prize Picks. So don't pass up your next shot with Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. And don't forget, you can do it live with the 2026 NBA Finals sweepstakes. If you play a live square during the NBA playoffs, you could go win a trip for two to the NBA Finals. To enter, you make a $5 lineup with at least one live NBA player pick during any part of the playoffs. Live player picks are picks made after a game is in progress. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, a preferred partner of the NBA.
All right, Jake, I got a couple for you here. There's one we absolutely have to put in. This bears no discussion. Dylan Harper, more 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's been ridiculous. I know I'm not sure he hit it last game. I think he had 14 in game 5, but I think that's an easy more for me.
Yeah, dude, that bloody behind the back, mid-court, left-hand dunk.
He's so good, dude. It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Okay. Which do you like more? Ant Moore, 6 2-pointers made, or Jaden McDaniels, more 11.5 points?
Jaden McDaniels, more 11.5 points. I like him at home in Minnesota.
Yep. He's been good.
Some big games. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Do you like, hold on, Naz Reid, more 9.5 points, or James Harden, more 19.5 points, or less 19.5 points for James?
It feels crazy to keep riding the James Harden.
He's just barely sniffed 20.
But he's averaging 20.5.
Yeah.
He had 30 last game. He had 24 the game before that and 19 the game before that. So
it's Harden in a closeout game. So
I know.
More?
I know. But Cleveland at home. Give me what about Donovan?
D Mitch is, let's see. I gotta find him here. He is not one of the trending more or less.
People are letting the spider fly under the radar here.
He's 26.5 points.
See, I think I know that's a bit high, but I think he's due after like a slower game. He's gonna come home, got a chance to go for it. Give me D Mitch.
All right, I'm gonna do that. I'll put those three in. So that is $20 to win 85. We are 0-3 on these.
Let's go.
So we're due for one. Lineup is submitted. We're good there. Prize Picks. It's fun, adds a little something extra now that the Celtics are out of the playoffs. Okay, where do you want to go next, Jake?
Should we just do the exit interviews?
I think we should.
There's a bunch of Jalen comment stuff, but I honestly don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
2 of the interviews came from like the All-Star break. He's getting skewed for the Kobe comments, where he was like, everything he inspired me on and off the court. And the quote that's going around is actually not, he didn't even say the word everything. He said like and stuff, and it got replaced with and everything off the court. Just such bullshit, which changes it a little bit for me.
It changes it a ton.
Yeah.
Like and stuff is like a tag that people say like, oh yeah, we're doing that
word filler.
Stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's not a real thing. Like obviously he's not talking about that, people.
Yeah.
Like
It's fucking
look,
sucks.
Jalen, like I know some of these are old interviews, but like, hey, maybe stay away from a mic for a couple weeks. But yeah, this was a nothing burger to me.
Yeah.
And the petition thing, like I just thought was funny. Like that didn't happen, but sure.
Yeah. Daniel from Clutch Points found the petition. There's like 12 people on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they remove people from it, but
that's
not what happened.
No, we're top 1% Celtics fans, I would say. Did you know before this there was a fan petition to have him start?
I didn't. I was not
Me
aware.
either.
Yeah, that was Jalen. I don't know, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go to the exit interviews then.
Okay. So either these questions can be directly for them, or they can be asked by Brad Stevens behind closed doors in their own exit interview.
I have one for Derrick to get us started.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I want to bring up the stats here so I get them right. But ultimately, I think you could make a pretty good argument that you, Derrick White, slowed down in the playoffs. Do you think, right, that your 2,600 minutes that you played this season, which was 10th most in the NBA, had anything to do with it? Were you carrying too big of a load in the regular season and ran out of gas in the playoffs?
I don't know if that was it.
Yeah.
I really think it's a mental thing for Derrick. And my next question, Derrick, 2 of the last 5 seasons, your first season when you were acquired by the Celtics and this most recent season in the playoffs, at least specifically, the Celtics have gone down and you've been in the midst of a confidence shooting slump. Whether you agree that it's confidence or not, do you think you can work on that to some degree? Is that something that Brad, do you think, is like, hey man, I don't like, what if Derrick just hits another, I'm not sure, I've got imposter syndrome before he gets to the playoffs again. Maybe I'm not good at basketball. And he shoots 27% from 3. The 45% true shooting is even worse than that.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try a Derrick White impression here. Yeah, I don't know. I just think is that good? Is that decent?
I really hope Derrick never hears that one.
Well, it's just like he does kind of.
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
Yeah, I think ultimately I've struggled with that my entire career. It's part of like been my journey. But no, I think Derrick would probably, I think he would admit it. I think he's admitted that in the past that he's gotten a sports psychologist. I think we might need the sports psychologist on speed dial. I don't know, man. And you guys touched on it. He wouldn't call out Joe like in an actual interview, but I think behind closed doors, he might have issue with how he was deployed, especially defensively. Like he's never been the guy who defends quick guards. He's always been like, put him on the second best offensive player, put him on a wing who's just a shooter and let him do his thing off ball, let him help at the rim, let him get steals. And then like, if he needs to switch, he can obviously switch and do that, but he is not the guy who's hounding the ball handler, 96 feet. And Joe asked him to do that and it absolutely didn't work. And I think Derrick probably feels a little bit hung out to dry defensively. And then offensively, yeah, man, like I just don't know what you do with him. because he's so hot and cold, and like the valleys are very, very deep. And what is he, 33? Like, I don't know if you just solve that
Nice,
this
31.
late into your 31. Oh man, why did I think he was older than that?
Well, he turns 32 in July. So I
Okay.
guess we're getting there.
So yeah, getting there. Do you just like solve that type of thing at 32 years old? Like, I'm not sure you can. You know, I think you just hope the first couple go in, and he's like, okay, I'm good.
You'd think like after going through so many of them that, and then like not just going through them, but then coming out and being like a complete flamethrower on the other side would make these moments easier to get through. That did not help him at all. It only got worse as the playoffs went along, and I was contrasting him to Marcus because it's very clear that Derrick White's a much better shooter than Marcus Smart. However, Marcus has never had one of these confidence slumps in his entire life.
Ain't that the truth?
Like, I went and had a look at it. So Derrick White was 27% from three. There was one playoffs where Marcus was below that. Like there was like, you know, his rookie season, he was at 23, but only played 7 games. The 2017-2018 season, Tatum's rookie year, Marcus was 22% from three and 45% true shooting. So same true shooting as Derrick in that run. And that honestly was skewed by game 7 against the Heat because he was 1 for 10. And that's our boy.
Yeah. Let him go, Marcus. Fire away.
But other than that, like this playoffs for the Lakers, he was like fantastic. 34% from three. His last season in Boston, 36, 35, 37, 33. The year that they went to the conference finals with IT, he was 40% from three. His valleys were never as low as Derrick's, honestly. And defensively,
I mean,
a better playoff defender. I don't think that's controversial in the slightest, right?
No. I mean, Derrick is extremely good at what he does in like as sort of an off ball and a helper and like good on ball. Marcus is one of the best defensive guards ever. And I don't think it's crazy to say that. Like
he was awesome in these playoffs as well. Like seeing him like still do like a good job on relatively good job on Shea and got up and get blocks at the rim still. Crazy.
He used to switch on to like Cat and be like, oh hell no, bro, you're not going anywhere.
Easy.
Yeah. So no, I don't think that's controversial at all. Super switchable, awesome help defender, and incredible on ball. But Marcus, like Derrick, struggled with the Maxies of the world. You know, he didn't really overlap with Maxey a ton, but he was not great against the quick guards.
No.
But he was better than Derrick was, I think, against Maxey these playoffs. So
yeah, which makes it tough for Derrick because then it's like if he's not able to do the smaller guards, Marcus was able to guard centers.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And Derrick cannot.
Yeah.
So but I don't know, he did have 2 strips on Embiid in game 7. Like
maybe we should have tried it a little more, man.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right. Because I do think that the role for Derrick was wrong. And again, that's why there's lots of blame to go around. It's like, yeah, Derrick, we just needed you to make more shots and be a better offensive player. And that would have completely changed the fates of the Celtics. But defensively, you start Walsh and you have him on Maxey and Derrick can play off Oubre. What are we doing?
Yeah, man. And one of the things too, I think was most concerning is like Derrick not only lets the missed shots pile up because of the confidence issues, he then gets totally unaggressive offensively too, where he's not willing to go to the rim. He's not willing to attack a pick and roll. Like there were several times where he picked up his dribble like 30 feet from the hoop. And then it's just like, this possession's dead because it's going to take you 5 seconds to find somebody to give the ball to. And there's going to be like 8 seconds left on the shot clock and we got to get into something else. So it's extremely destructive when Derrick, not only because he's missing shots, but because like he kind of turns into a bad offensive player on the whole. And like, say what you want about Marcus, he was always willing to go to the rim. He was always willing to, you know, post somebody up and make a pass. He was always ready to try some shit offensively in a way that Derrick's just not. And I wonder how conscious Derrick is of that. And like, maybe that's the problem, is that he is so conscious of like, oh my God, this is happening again.
I would imagine he is.
Yeah.
It has to be, right? Like, such a smooth, coordinated player in like the mid range, the wonky, like, because when it's going, there's like not a shot you think he can't make. He's one of those touchy feely guys that's like circa shot, end of shot clock. How many times has he made a ridiculous shot? And it's almost like those are the shots he's more likely to make when he's in a slump because he doesn't have time to think about it.
Mhm.
And it was like that Houston game early in the season, the first Ron Harper Jr. game. Derrick had been in a slump, and then all of a sudden he broke out of it because he was playing. Jalen was out. He was playing this number one role and had no choice but to take like these ridiculous pull up. And he's just like, well, there's no pressure on these shots. I just got to take them. And then he gets fucking on a heater from that. That's not really, if that doesn't help you solve anything, it's like, okay, no easy shots for you, Derrick. Don't take any of those ones. So, I think it's a good problem to have because I think that it's more likely than not he's just plays well in the next playoffs. But it's probably more likely that he's the one that's part of a trade, I think, than Jalen. As much as we've talked more about the Giannis stuff, that's, I would say, less likely. And there's more options, I guess, where you either do just Derrick or you do Derrick plus Hauser. And that it allows you to shake the team up without, getting rid of one of the Jays.
Yeah, I think more teams would just want Derrick White, not because he's a better player than Jaylen Brown, but if you trade for Jaylen, like Jaylen has to be your second best player at worst, right? Whereas Derrick, like he can be your fifth best starter, and he's gonna do Derrick White things, which is like my last question for Derrick would be like, did you feel a bit miscast as sort of like the third best player? Like when one of the Jays sits, you're expected to be essentially the primary ball handler. And it felt like the best iterations of the Celtics have always been with Derrick's like always got another guy other than Tatum who can handle some ball handling duties. And like Pritchard's sort of that. But like, you put him next to Drew Holiday, boom. Like it all just makes sense and gets into place because they can kind of share that load of being like the primary guy, like co-primaries when one of the Jays sits. Whereas on this team, it's like Pritchard's wonderful, but he's not a primary creator in the playoffs. He's just not. And like Drew could just have possessions where it's like, give it to Drew. He's going to go like post somebody up from 15 feet and get a look.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Maybe I'm not a third option, Spoonie. Maybe I am a fourth. Maybe I'm a sixth man.
The best fourth option maybe ever, and like a pretty okay third option maybe.
That's why that 2024 team was so good. It was, Jalen, Jason, Derrick was kind of like that ancillary, just flamethrower. But yeah, when it got to the playoffs, those Drew Holiday plays, I think of the Pacers series late in the game, and one on Siakam and one on Obi Toppin, both in games 3 and 4 to basically seal the game. And I don't know if confidence is a problem for Drew Holiday either. He's not afraid to get 20 shots up in a playoff game. Yeah, Derrick doesn't share that mentality that a lot of these NBA guys have. And I don't know if that's because he went that D2 route. And it's like, well, people have been telling me most of my life that I am actually not good enough. And it's only recently into my adult life that people have been like, no, it's the opposite. And it's hard for many humans to change that narrative about themselves that they form when they're in their teenage years and early 20s. He's got to, man, we got to upgrade the mental health plan for the Celtics and get Derrick to speak to the right person, because I feel for him, because obviously it's there for him. Yeah. And I do think that there's something you can access, but those are hard narratives and hard. Maybe it's get him on the psilocybin, some microdosing.
There we go.
Up, yeah, like we got to increase the neuroplasticity of Derrick White's brain and help him build new neural pathways that he is. Give him like Clockwork Orange, just Jimmy Butler highlights.
He needs an ayahuasca trip. That's all.
Yes. Yeah. Simple.
All right. Should we move on to Peyton?
Yes. Payton Pritchard. In the playoffs, you led the entire playoffs as of today in points per direct action at about 1.36 per Payton Pritchard pick. Do you think that you should have played more and we should have run more Payton Pritchard picks and done more Payton Pritchard things in the playoffs?
Okay. Pritchard's got a bit of the like sort of white rapper vibes, you know what I mean? So he's just like, yeah, man, like I feel like, yeah, for sure, man. We definitely like, why not? Like you could have just give the ball to PP a little bit more. Yeah, I think Pritchard seems like the type of guy that no matter what would think he should have been more involved. And that's part of why he's so good at what he does. But look, like I get that, but he also didn't really shoot the ball very well in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like he had that one huge game that I think sort of colors like what he looked like.
How much of this stat is a direct result of Game 4?
That's I think that a lot of it is he shot 42% from the field and 31% from three in the playoffs. Like that's not really that good. And I actually come out of the playoffs feeling really encouraged with Pritchard. And, he had 36 assists and 5 turnovers. Like that's pretty crazy. But I just think he's best deployed. Like he should have pplayed more. Actually, let me step back. He should have played more, but I also don't necessarily think like deploying Pritchard more means we win the series.
Sure. Yeah, well, because I think one thing with Pritchard on the confidence thing, I don't think he would have. He's going to lose confidence in the same way that Derrick White is. Like if he's empowered, I think if he's empowered to go out there and be Game 4 Payton Pritchard, then he is likely to at least you have to give yourself the chance to access that. And you learned through 5 games that that's not coming from Derrick White anymore. Like ship sailed. I don't know if you would have benched Derrick for Pritchard in the starting lineup necessarily, but you can just take Derrick out early and ramp up Pritchard's minutes. But like coming out of Game 4, where he goes nuts, how does Pritchard play 10 less minutes than Derrick White in Game 5?
It's crazy.
Yeah, so and 4 of those minutes came when I think Pritchard came in with 4 minutes to go, when the game was basically out of hand, if I'm remembering this correctly.
You absolutely are remembering that correctly, because it was like 8 minutes of the fourth quarter being like, where is Pritchard? We need Pritchard to come in. And I think it was like a 7 or 8 point game by the time he got in. We just kind of never got it close.
Yeah, we were in the midst of the worst quarter we'd ever had. And it was too late. It was too late. And that goes back to Joe as well. But yeah, I think this guy, we need to try and make him your third best dude. I think he's shown a ceiling and a confidence that when you get to the playoffs, he can maybe give you some of that. And I think nerfing him for no reason was silly. But yeah. And also, does he accept a contract extension, do you think? If you offer him a maximum of whatever you can offer him?
How do you think he feels about the contract he signed? Because to me, it always is kind of like, do the players feel like the team got one over on them when they're on these like super discount deals?
Probably to a degree.
Yeah, right. So like, I think we can offer him 175%, which is like not off the 7. Yeah, off of 7 million. What is that, like 14 million or something like that? I don't think he takes that.
Yeah, like if you offer him a 3 for 45 contract extension, I don't know. It's one of those things that the money's gotten so crazy in the NBA. It's like, as a human, and that anything can happen in the next 2 seasons. It's like, am I going to wait another 2 seasons to bet on myself, or do I lock down $45 million?
It's also true. I mean, that's a great point. Like, it's really hard to walk away from 45 million. And he's going to be like probably 30, right?
Yeah.
Right around 30 by the time his contract's over. And he's a guy who definitely relies on his speed. Like there's no doubt about it, his quickness. So there's some chance that like when he loses a step, it's just over. Small guards don't last long in the NBA comparatively. So he might take it. But I also wonder if Pritchard's the type of guy that's like, I kind of want to move on to my next challenge too. I want to see if I can be the second best player on a team. Like I want to go to, Portland and be like co-primary ball handler with Denny Avdia and like see what happens. And they're going to give me 3 for 60, like, sorry.
Yeah. We probably feels to a degree, right? Like I should have been playing more. You didn't play more. And because of that, that's why I ended up having to sign this contract. If you don't trade for Malcolm Brogdon, I probably come into my free agency and I'm making 15 million already, as opposed to now I never get to access that level of 20, 25 plus. So yeah, I would very much understand it in both directions, but yeah, I do think that like a question to ask him is like, do you think you're ready to handle more? And obviously he believes he can. And at every step of the way, he has been able to handle more. The efficiency in the regular season wasn't quite as high. He didn't shoot as well as he's capable of. But, that happens some years. What did he end up this season? True shooting.
38.
Yeah, 58% true shooting, 38% from three, which is, considering the difficulty of shots, is actually probably pretty
damn good. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I think with the level of responsibility, like when he was playing in that 6-man role on the team with last year when Drew Holiday's still here, obviously the efficiency is going to be so high. Like he's just playing like this spot up high shot quality role. But yeah, I would try and mold this guy into a dude that helps you not fail in these spots in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I wonder if he feels a little hard done on the defensive side of the ball too, because I do think he had some spells where he looked fine on Maxey. Like I wouldn't say he was like good. Like Walsh was far and away our best Maxey defender, and it's criminal he didn't play more, in my opinion. But Pritchard's okay at like defending small guards. Like the problem is he can't switch, right? And he can, loses a little bit rebounding.
Did well on Paul George though.
Yeah, he did really awesome on some Paul George possessions. And it's like, it felt like Joe tried nothing and was all out of ideas, right? And like, you could have just throw Pritchard on Paul George, see what the fuck happens. Like maybe he lights him up for 2 possessions, but when you're stumbling, like we were stumbling in the last few games of that series, like you just got to try shit. And Joe didn't. So I wonder if Pritchard feels like, not only would I juice the offense, but like I was having a pretty good defensive series too. Like I just makes no sense why I was on the bench.
This is interesting. Looking at data ball of matchup data in 195 possessions in the last 3 seasons, Pritchard has held Maxey to 49% true shooting.
Yeah, I always feel like he does fine. Now,
on the other hand, Maxey has held Pritchard to 21% true shooting. That's another thing. Maxey's like this whole like Maxey, you can attack him stuff. I don't know about that.
Yeah, dude, it didn't work.
Yeah, and even watching the Knicks series, I didn't think that he was like this sieve. He's like fucking athletic and explosive and fights and gets to lose balls. Yeah, he's fucking good. God damn, it's really annoying.
It is really annoying. I love Aaron Nesmith, but man, I wish we took Maxey. That would be such a game. That was a Pritchard draft too. I think they were the same draft, so we could have Maxey and Pritchard. Yeah, fuck, man, that would have been crazy. All right, what else do we want to ask PP before we get out of here?
I don't know. I feel like we've kind of hit everything. Like, is there anything? Oh, Pritchard, like what's going to be the thing you're trying to add to your game? Because I feel like this season was the ISO mid-range, short mid-range stuff, right? Those little fadeaways, the stuff that we'd been begging for, right? Like he didn't quite turn into like the sprinting TJ McConnell fadeaways, but like the getting deep into the paint and then just like burrowing in fadeaways 9 to 12 feet. fucking money in that range. Is there something that you want to work on that you can like have an idea of in the offseason?
Running floater, 100%
Ooh.
running floater. He goes to the mid range when he doesn't create a full advantage. He gets like that half advantage and then he steps back into it. I think when he actually gets downhill, he dribbles himself all the way to the rim into the rim protection and has to nash out or just turn around and come out. He needs to add the maxi like full speed floater from like the foul line or, a foot or two in from the foul line. And like, I don't know how you stop the guy. Like, there were times where it like almost they'd Olay Pritchard into the rim protection because he doesn't ever go to the floater. So he gets that floater going, man, at like 45%. Like, so he can attack an ISO with the step back, pull up, or the midi. And then like when he does get an advantage in the pick and roll, he can either play make when the rim protection comes over early or just get to the floater when it comes over late, because the biggest weakness of Pritchard's game right now is generating shots at the rim. And like, that's a way, they're not exactly shots at the rim, but when you're 6'1", like it essentially is a shot at the rim. Like the Trae Young, maxi running floater for me is the big thing for Pritchard.
Yeah. Love it. Fuck. Honestly, whole team could use a floater.
Tatum should have had a floater 3 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably too late for Tatum. I don't know why, but I feel like I think Pritchard could probably add one. Just like I'm waiting for Jake to touch rim. That could be coming soon.
Honestly, nice.
The body, I'm having my I was gonna say James Harden sons. I really just was impressed from him last night. I know,
clearly.
I know. I just couldn't believe it. But yeah, he's definitely not looking especially bursty, but we're close. We're a couple inches away, which might be too many inches to ever get there, but we haven't suffered an injury in like 6 months now, which is exciting. Anything's possible.
Anything is hard. This is a good one. Yeah, Pritchard missed the roll, guys. Sometimes that's a really good one.
Too short to throw some of these passes, it feels like. And that's where the low turnover rate comes from, I think, to a degree. Is he's very conservative when it comes to his passing. And I don't know if you caught that on the episode as well, like with the Joe stuff. Everything is just so extreme. Like the turnover rate having to be like the number one priority, and like taking all the threes as an extension of that because he's scared of shots at the rim being essentially like pseudo turnovers.
Yep.
Like, does Pritchard feel empowered to throw more just like lobs if it's like we're not fucking terrified of throwing? Because I'm honestly at a point with the regular season, I don't care if we're first in turnovers. Let's like figure out how to throw some lobs, or we're going to need to be able to throw that in the playoffs, and like this like hyper, I kind of called him Maury Bally, Missoula ball. It's like, are you going a little bit too far into these extremes when sometimes you just got to fucking, the game's about a bucket.
Yeah, man. Like, 45% from the mid range is less efficient than 33% from three, but the scoreboard goes up more often. You know what I mean? Like, they go in more often, and sometimes
orange ball go in.
Yeah, that's what you need, Yeah. So no, I think like the exit interview for Joe, maybe we should do that last if we even do that. But like, I think he's got to take a real long look at how he has this team constructed, because I think there's a very legitimate argument that the variance of the regular season means his system over 82 games is like foolproof. And it's just a lot different when it's 16 games, or 16 wins anyway. Yeah. So I think Joe needs to have a long, hard look at how we can generate some different types of shots, even if they are less efficient shots on a macro level. And yeah, like, I want Pritchard throwing bad passes. Throw some fucking the Marcus Smarts, bro. Like, throw some shitty passes into the stands, because that's how you build the chemistry. Like, once dudes know, like, he's going to throw this pass, I'll be there. You know what I mean? So, and like, throw the lobs to Nemi. Okay. Nemi didn't roll hard enough this time. He will next time. So I'm with you. That's a great one too.
Yeah. Love it. We'll end on this. Clean music lovers begging us to check out Madar's 2025, 2026 highlights. So maybe for next episode, that could be our answer to rim pressure half-court creation in 2026 and 2027. Wouldn't that be cool? Johan Begaron, bring him back.
Johan and Yam. Have we rescinded or have given up Johan's draft rights? I mean, there's no reason to ever give up anyone's draft rights, but like that dream feels dead.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'd say so.
But yeah.
All right. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
We'll wrap up this episode of the Rights to Yam Madar. But yeah, I don't know. We'll definitely be recording again pretty soon here, maybe this weekend or early next week. We'll keep the exit interviews going. Maybe you'll have some takes from Nathan Marzione about Giannis trades. We'll see. But that's going to do it for this one, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We are out. Peace.